Powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake has struck the bordering region of Turkey and Syria, which has killed at least 1,500 people, with the death toll likely to rise further. Good evening, I'm Prarambha Dahal. Let's begin with the main stories. Death toll on the rise, at least 1,500 killed in Turkey and Syria as a massive earthquake hits the bordering region. Thousands injured, rescue efforts underway. Prime Minister Kamal Dahal holds talks with chief whips of major political parties in a bid to make parliament proceedings more effective. Ruling coalition's candidate from CPN Maoist Center, Urmila Aryal, elected National Assembly Deputy Chair unanimously, faces the challenge of ensuring efficient performance of the entity. And Santoshi Shrestha of Bagmati wins gold in women's 5,000-meter race under the Golden Athletics meet. Rammaya Bhura and Rekha Besta of Police win silver and bronze. The government has decided to take the priority bills related to public concerns to the House of Representatives. A consensus in this regard was reached at the meeting called by Prime Minister Kamal Dahal today. According to the Secretariat of Prime Minister, an agreement has been reached at the meeting of chief whips of all parties represented at the Parliament to take the bills to the Parliament on the basis of priority. Bills related to development, good governance, transitional justice, education, health and citizenship, among others, will now be taken to the Parliament. Prime Minister Dahal has said that homework was underway to table around 15 to 20 bills at the ongoing session of the House of Representatives. The meeting was also attended by Minister for Law, Chief Secretary and the Secretary of the Ministry of Law. Prime Minister Kamal Dahal is to present the bill related to the services and facilities for the government attorneys at the Parliament at the earliest. After visiting the office of the Attorney General today, Prime Minister Dahal said that efforts would be made to formulate the act as provisioned by the Constitution of Nepal. At the program, Attorney General Dinmani Pokhrel said that cases related to electronic transactions, which previously were overseen only by the Kathmandu District Court, would now be expanded to all district courts. The ruling coalition's candidate from CPN Maoist Center, Urmila Aryal, has been unanimously elected as the Deputy Chairperson of the National Assembly. At today's meeting of the National Assembly, Chairperson Ganesh Prasad Timilsina declared Aryal's unanimous victory. Based on the election schedule, only Aryal's candidacy was filed yesterday. The position had remained vacant after the expiry of the term of the erstwhile Deputy Chair, Shashikala Dahal. The National Assembly has 16 CPN-UML members, 15 of CPN Maoist Center, 10 from Nepali Congress, 8 of CPN Unified Socialist, 3 of Janata Samajwadi Party, and 1 each from Loktantrik Samajwadi and Rashtriya Jana Morcha, alongside 1 independent member. Election for the vacant one place is slated for February 8. Aryal, who joined CPN Maoist Center from CPN-UML 9 years ago, had become the member of the National Assembly last year. She has previously served as the Minister for Women, Children and Social Welfare from CPN-UML 16 years ago. Newly elected Deputy Chair Aryal faces the challenge of ensuring the efficient performance and role of the National Assembly. The Nepali Congress leader Shekhar Koirala has said that politicians had to be patient and disciplined. Speaking with journalists at the Bharatpur airport in Chitwan today, Koirala said that people who were not patient could not remain in politics for a long period of time. Koirala clarified that democracy was not possible without press freedom and development was not possible without democracy. He also claimed that Nepali Congress would field their candidate for the presidential election and win the presidential poll as well. The Federation of Nepalese Journalists (FNJ) has stated that its attention has been drawn by the threatening remarks made to the media by Rashtriya Swatantra Party Chair Rabi Lammichhane during a press meet of the party yesterday. FNJ said that Lammichhane's threat is a serious blow to press freedom and freedom of speech. In the press release issued by the Federation of Nepalese Journalists yesterday, it has made it clear that if any untoward incident occurs due to the remarks made by Rabi Lammichhane, Rashtriya Swatantra Party Chairperson Lammichhane himself and the party would be responsible. FNJ has said that Lammichhane's threatening remarks have been objectionable and an unseemly act. Condemning his remarks, FNJ has urged Lammichhane to take back his remarks aimed at the media and to respect the constitutional rights. Speaking at the press meet at the Rashtriya Swatantra Party office, Lammichhane had threatened to encircle media officers. Meanwhile, the Central Committee of Nepal Press Union has also issued a press release condemning Lamichhane's threatening remarks, saying that it was done to hide his weaknesses and to insult the media sector. Criticisms against Lamichhane's threatening remarks have started to pour in form of various entities, as political analysts too have termed the RSP's decision to quit the party, to quit the government, as the very self-centered way of the party chairperson Rabi Lamichhane. There are 10 academies that operate health education under the federal and provincial structures in Nepal. Preparations are underway for establishment of 5 more provincial academies. Now, at a time when the existing academies are not well managed and have not been able to ensure quality education, Prime Minister Pushpa Dahal has been assuring academies for each hospital. 6 years have gone by since the establishment of the Rapti Health Science Academy in Gorai Dang. However, the academy has not been able to conduct any academic programs so far. The process for approval of the academic program has been halted because of extreme politicization at the institution, which was developed from sub-regional hospital to an academy. While existing health science academies have not been able to operate in an efficient manner, the federal and provincial government hospitals appear to be in the race to establish their own academies. While the federal government has already decided to develop the Shahid Dharmabhakta National Transplant Center, Bhaktapur, as an academy, Bagmati and Madhya province governments have established their academies as well. Other provinces are also expediting procedures to establish their academies. A total of 10 health science academies are already in operation in the country. Prime Minister Pushpa Dahal has been assuring Gangalal Hospital and Tilganga Institute of Ophthalmology the status of health science academies equivalent to universities. More than 7 billion rupees is required in investment for establishment of a health science academy. After the beginning of the academic program, 75% of the students should be admitted for free. Transforming hospitals to health science academies without proper need assessment under political pressure will only increase financial burden on the state coffers. The Ministry of Health and Population itself has accepted that problems may also surface in treatment of patients. While existing health science academies have been plagued with problems caused by political interventions, it is imperative for adequate need assessment before developing hospitals as academies. The first national conference of sub-metropolitan cities held to demand a separate act for the metropolitan and sub-metropolitan cities has concluded. The conference has issued a 7-point Butwal declaration paper with decisions to increase the efficiency of service delivery of sub-metropolitan cities by ensuring good governance, policies, planning and sound management. Saying that the delay in formulation of the Federal Civil Service Act had direct impact at the local levels regarding management of human resources and their services and facilities, the conference has also demanded for immediate formulation and implementation of the Federal Civil Service Act. Kantipur television colleague Narayan Kilambu has been awarded with Rafat Journalism Prize. Kilambu was awarded the prize by chairperson of the Nepal Workers and Peasants Party, Narayan Man Bijukche, at a program organized to mark the 13th anniversary of Rafat Media Club. According to the Rafat Media Club, Kilambu was awarded the prize to recognize his role in transforming society and putting an end to wrong practices through journalism. Journalists Ramesh Giri and Majes Pratap Malla were also awarded at the program. Now, chickens raised in 3 different farms in Kathmandu Valley have been detected with bird flu. According to the Department of Livestock Services, chickens in the farm run by the Nepal Agricultural Research Council in Lalitpur's Khumaltar were found infected. Likewise, chickens in farms in Ramkot and Tarakeshwar also tested positive for the virus. According to the department's Director General Samjana Kafle, the infected chickens are being terminated. It is now time for our segment Public Polls, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Polls.
The question is, what is your say on the transfer of high-ranking employees after every change in government? Your options are A. Administration being politicized, B. Leader-employee nexus, and C. Due to necessity. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for the international news. At least 1,500 people have died across Turkey and Syria after a huge 7.8 magnitude earthquake swept across southern Turkey early Monday, injuring thousands more people in both the countries. In Syria, more than 500 people have died, including 326 mostly in the regions of Aleppo, Hama, Latakia and Tartus, according to Syrian state news agency, which also reported at least 1,042 injuries. Out of those who lost their lives, at least 139 were in Latakia, its governor told the Syrian state television. Meanwhile, the White Helmets group, officially known as the Syria Civil Defense, also reported at least 150 deaths and 350 injuries in the opposition-controlled areas of northwestern Syria. In Turkey, over 900 have died and 5,385 people were injured, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said in a televised address on Monday. An eyewitness said aftershocks were still being felt hours after the earthquake. Photos have also emerged showing the disastrous aftermath of the quake, with entire buildings collapsed and cars toppled over. Rescuers are working through the debris of fallen infrastructure to search for survivors, while the port of Iskenderun in southern Turkey and some airport runways have been damaged. A second earthquake has struck in southeastern Turkey, with its epicenter near the city of Kahramanmaraş, according to reports. The U.S. Geological Survey said it had measured the strength of the quake to be 7.5 magnitude. Hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees displaced by the war in the home country are settled in the regions of Turkey that have been worst hit by this morning's earthquake. Turkey shelters more than 3.6 million Syrian refugees, according to data from Human Rights Watch. Many of these refugees settled along the Turkish-Syrian border, where the earthquake actually hit. Now, in the wake of the earthquake, the Turkish armed forces have set up an air corridor on Monday to allow the transfer of aid and rescue teams to affected areas. Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar stressed that the authorities have mobilized to try to contain the damage and care for the victims, including the search and rescue of victims still trapped in the rubble of collapsed buildings, before indicating that the crisis center is working intensively. Now, health workers in Britain began their largest strike today as tens of thousands of nurses and ambulance workers worked out in an escalating pay dispute, putting further strain on the state-run National Health Service (NHS). Nurses and ambulance workers have been striking separately on and off since late last year, but today walkout involving both largely in England is the biggest in the 75-year history of the NHS. Nurses will also strike tomorrow, while ambulance staff will walk out on Friday and physiotherapists on Thursday, making the week probably the most disruptive in NHS history as per the medical professionals. Health workers are demanding a pay rise that reflects the worst inflation in Britain in 4 decades, while the government says that would be unaffordable and cause more price rises and in turn make interest rates and mortgage payments rise. Illuminated bridges, buildings and light art scattered around the city will light up the Danish capital for the next 3 weeks. February is one of the darkest months of the year, but during the 23-day light festival, which started at the weekend, people in Copenhagen will be able to enjoy some much-needed light. This is the 6th year the festival is taking place, and more than 35 light installations will be seen around Copenhagen, mostly concentrated in the city center. Walking, cycling and running routes of varying length have been developed to take visitors straight to the installations, and an app shows where all the installations are located. It is now time for the sports news.
Sports news.
Santoshi Shrestha of Bagmati has won gold in the women's 500-meter race under the Golden Athletics meet. In the race held at the synthetic track of the Dasarath Stadium, Santoshi completed the distance in 17 minutes 37.9 seconds. Santoshi had also won a gold at the 9th National Games. In the race held in the Gandaki province, she had clocked 17 minutes 5.29 seconds to complete the distance. Meanwhile, Ramaya Buda of Nepal Police Club won silver as she completed the distance in 18 minutes 44.3 seconds, while Rekha Besta, also of Nepal Police, won bronze with a timing of 18 minutes 45.7 seconds. Rekha had won gold in yesterday's 10,000 meter race. Star Pakistan cricketer Mohammad Rizwan has met with Nepali cricketer Sandeep Lamichhane, who is alleged of raping a minor. Wicketkeeper batter Rizwan had arrived in Kathmandu yesterday. According to Cricket Association of Nepal CAN President Chatur Bahadur Chand, CAN was not officially aware about Rizwan's Nepal visit. Another member of the National Cricket Governing Body has said that CAN was informally aware about the tour. Rizwan reached the team hotel and met Sandeep Lamichhane and other members of the national team. It has been understood that Rizwan has arrived in Nepal to meet Lamichhane, as Lamichhane cannot leave the country. The working committee meeting of CAN held in Pokhara had decided to lift the suspension imposed on Lamichhane and had called him for the national team closed camp. Prior to this, Lamichhane was released on a bail of 2 million rupees by the Patan High Court. Office of the Attorney General had then challenged the verdict and moved the Supreme Court with the demand of judicial custody while court proceedings were underway. That is all for the moment. Our next news bulletin is at 10:30 p.m. Thank you for staying with us. Goodbye for now.